Do you feel like you're going to the grocery store more often this summer because your food is going bad? If so, you're not crazy because food actually spoils faster in the summer. If you're new here, hi, I'm Kelly and I studied food science and nutrition and I have over 10 years of experience working in the food industry, and I want to tell you why your food actually spoils faster in the summer. The big culprit, and you might have already figured this out, is temperature variation. Increased temperatures and humidity create the perfect breeding ground for mold and bacteria. And while you might think, well, I'm keeping my food in the refrigerator, I don't understand how this could happen. Here's what actually happens. You go to the grocery store that's perfectly air conditioned. You spend all this time picking out the perfect produce to then go and use your hard-earned money to pay for it, and then leave the perfectly air-conditioned grocery store to return to your hot car. On your way home, the produce sits in temperature fluctuation while you wait for your car to heat up, most likely in the trunk or in a grocery bag, heating up on the transport home. Then you get into your home and it takes you a couple minutes to unload your groceries, and then you go and put them back in the refrigerator. Temperature variation from all of those different steps can actually damage fresh produce at the cellular level. The cells within your fresh produce are actually expanding and contracting based on the amount of available waters, whether that's from the humidity or from cold temperature. With all of that temperature variation, the plant cells begin to lose their integrity, meaning it's harder for them to maintain that same amount of moisture. So they'll wilt faster, or bacteria will be able to enter into those cells and breed faster. But other foods are affected by this too. Things with oils, like open bags of potato chips, are more likely to go rancid faster because of the higher temperatures, and the increased humidity is more likely to cause them to get soggy. So snacks are a big culprit if they're not stored correctly. Other foods that have sensitive proteins in them are likely to coagulate or change shape, which will then change the function of the protein in the food. This doesn't mean that the protein has disappeared. It just means that it's not working to give you the correct quality that it should in a food or in a food system. The last thing to consider is when you keep food outside. In the hot weather with the increased humidity, food goes bad faster outside because you have an increased risk for bacterial growth. But you don't have to keep throwing your money down the drain just because food has a tendency to spoil faster in the summer. Here are a few things that you can do instead. When you go to the grocery store, use a cooler bag. A cooler bag or an insulated bag is a great way to transport your frozen or fresh produce and keep it cold or at a more consistent temperature for a longer period of time, like from the grocery store to your house, or from your house to, a picnic somewhere. The second thing that you can do to avoid any kind of foodborne illness outside is to not eat food that's been outside for longer than 2 hours. If the temperature is over 90 degrees outside or the food's sitting in the sun, you should cut that time in half by an hour. One other thing that you can do is to make sure that when you run all of your errands, to make grocery shopping the last stop on your list of places that you need to go, lessening the amount of time that the food is exposed to temperature fluctuations. One important thing to note is that the danger zone for food is between 40 degrees and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're within this temperature range, you're more susceptible to food spoilage by bacteria. I hope you found this information helpful. Make sure you check out the link in my description for proper food storage techniques. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and follow along for more. But if you're looking for the perfect place to store these containers, make sure you check out my video on meal prep containers. I'll link it here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!